Well, here she is, long-awaited review for the Heritage Rough Rider. Fun little plinking firearm. Take my ear pro off for a sec. A budget gun, a true budget gun here. This one cost me about 150 out the door from Bass Pro down in Phoenix. And as you notice in Sarah's videos, it's always at my side. Don't really reload any rimfire ammo. I don't reload period, actually. So, yep, we are clear and unsafe. So like I said, this was a budget gun. This is one of those firearms that you know, you pick up and you keep it on your side anytime you're in the woods, anytime you're working on a house, and you know, you don't feel bad if it gets dropped. You don't feel bad if it gets nicked or scraped or busted up. You just don't feel bad if it gets abused or exposed to the weather, because it's a budget firearm. You know, Heritage has been around for quite some time now, and you can catch these firearms for sale as low as about, I've seen them go for sale for $80, $100. And you can tell one of the biggest indicators for this one specifically that it's a budget firearm is the finish on it. The finish, it's already rubbing off. All of the bluing is starting to slowly fade away and disappear. You know, but you don't feel bad because, again, you didn't pay $500–600 for it like you would a Smith & Wesson or a Ruger. If you remember the unboxing video with this particular firearm, it had some wooden grips on it, and I changed those out immediately. I actually tried to paint them black at one point. It turned out ugly, really ugly. So I ordered these off of eBay. I gave those wooden grips to Josh, my brother, mainly because he's got a Heritage Rough Rider just like this one, except he's got the 4-inch barrel variation. We'll see what he does with it. And yeah, you can't really expect much with a firearm like this, and that's why I keep it by my side, working on the property, outside and inside. You just don't feel bad if it gets scratched, neglected, abused. You just don't. It's a kit gun, a brush gun, something you throw in your tackle box, something you throw in the bottom shelf of your toolbox. You know, just in the event you run into something that reminds you that you may not be the dominant species on planet Earth. In this case, it's a lot of snakes. And that's why you just saw me shooting. No, I'm not that good of a shot, even though I managed to hit, what, 4 out of 5 of my shots? No, I'm not that good of a shot. What I was actually firing was what I like to refer to as rat shell, snake shell, or rat shell. So this is from CCI, 22 Magnum rat shell / snake shell. It's basically a miniature shotgun. If you notice all of the itty bitty beads inside there. So this particular firearm is a single action. So that means you actually have to cock it every time you shoot it, which in my mind makes it a little more safer. Now, I've owned several single actions over the years. Get a little closer look here. This one is sticks with the original concept. As you see, it's already half cocked, and that's the only way you can actually load it. Even though it has this safety mechanism right here. So if you watch what's going on, when that safety mechanism is on fire, it will allow this hammer to go all the way forward, pushing the fire pin forward. Now, with a setup like this, you don't necessarily have to do the load 1 round, skip 1 round, which basically allows your hammer to stay fall on an empty chamber in the cylinder. But I do it anyway just for extra precaution. As you can see, I was able to unholster it pretty quick. I'm not a sharpshooter. I don't claim to be an expert firearms handler. But these are fun little plinksters. And as you can see downrange here, we're going to be taking out a lot more bad guys more blue and green bad guys, blue and green snakes. So let's stop talking about it and actually load her up. We're gonna load her up with some more CCI 22 Magnum this time. EDB rounds. So you're gonna load one and then you skip one. So like I said, with this particular firearm, you don't have to do that because it has that safety mechanism. But like any safety mechanism, it's a mechanical device that does have the potential of failing. So if this gun were to slide out of my holster and land smack dab on that hammer, I wouldn't have to concern myself with it. Well, let's see how good of a shot I really am. Safety was on. Oh. There we go. Well, it appears that this one is shooting a little low. Once I get this unloaded and a safety check for all cylinders cleared, I'll show you what I'm talking about as far as shooting low. And she's totally empty. Safety is on. So, bring the camera on behind me here as best as you can. As you can see, there are no adjustable sights on this firearm. What you have to do is you have to line up the top groove in here with the stationary high groove up there. And so that means there's really no availability to adjust your windage or altitude, elevation. So you basically have to Kentucky windage this firearm to find out where exactly she is shooting. Now, in all the modern single actions, they do have those adjustable windage and elevation sights. I've actually owned a few Rugers that have that feature on them. And it actually, you know, zeroes it in pretty good, pretty easily. This one, it's going to take a few shots to figure out where exactly she's landing. I'm pretty sure I hit that second bottle. I did see it move a little bit, but I may have just grazed it. I know she's shooting low. I can't really tell for right now as to if I need to move to the left or move to the right. So any of these classic styled single actions that have this type of sighting, yep, you are forced to pretty much Kentucky windage it. And yeah, let's see if we can zero it in as to where it's actually shooting at. There we go. You know, with these 22 Rimfires, I'll take my ears off, with anything 22 related actually, for the longest time, about 5 years ago while I was still in the military, so that would have been 2014, 2015, Rimfire was just hard to come by. People were hoarding it, especially when several people discovered that it could be used in the AR platform rifles. So I was actually against the idea of anything 22 Rimfire related. For the longest time, I just wouldn't do it. The only Rimfire I would own was a 17 HMR. Still one of my favorite rounds, and 17 HMR is in abundance. I had a Ruger single action, single 6 in 17 HMR. Really missed that firearm. Had a Chiappa, another budget firearm in 17 HMR. But now, living back east here, we're finding Rimfire ammunition everywhere. And they're not running out anytime soon. Because of the COVID-19 ordeal, the things we're running out of in these firearms related stores are apparently anything handgun related. So the 9mm, the 45 ACP, the 357, the 38 Special, any of the most commonly known handgun rounds, that's what they're running out of. Rimfire, it's back and it's ready for action. For a budget firearm, one cool feature about this is that not only do you get a 22 Magnum cylinder, you also get a 22 LR cylinder. So just switch that out. And then you can go right back. To my knowledge, the only firearms that allow dual cylinders like that is, of course, the Ruger single sixes, and she's in place. It's that simple. 2 different cylinders, 2 different types of ammo. Both of those ammos are in abundance, obviously. So now we're going to 22 long rifle. It's just a quick comparison here. So a lot more firepower behind that 22 Magnum. But we're about to see what this little LR cylinder can do with the long rifle rounds. Let's see if this thing actually fires. With all 6 rounds in the chamber. And the safety is on. Let's see if it does its job. It already did its job once. Good. I had it sighted in as to where I needed to point for Magnum rounds, but it's a little different for LR rounds. Well, not gonna walk away without making sure all these bad guys / water bottles are done for. So we'll do the safe thing, the humane thing, and make sure they're all put out of their misery.